See what we come up with. I'm back at the loft and I'm going to quickly build an assembly table because I need a nice big flat even surface on which to assemble all the pieces that are going to make up my tabletop. So I went to the Home Depot and got a piece of OSB. This is just cheap oriented strand board, and the nice thing about this is it has one side that's very smooth. And I got a couple of pieces of 2x6 redwood. As Bruce and I mentioned, we're going to take the pieces that I used to make this assembly table and incorporate them into my finished table so that it will all truly be recycled product. I have my assembly table finished now with the smooth side of the OSB facing up, and it's well supported by the 2x6s. So now I'm going to take my 2x4s that I milled at the shop and the strips of plywood that we cut and get to do the fun part now. Just lay it all out and see what I come up with. So finally, I've got them all laid into place, and let me tell you, that was a lot more tedious than I had anticipated. What you're seeing here will actually be the bottom of the table. That's why I put all the discoloration facing up, and I put the nice side of each board facing down. Then as we laid out the wood, we weren't sure of the orientation of it. So we went through and checked each piece of wood and decided to put an X, and that would be the glue pattern. So where we have two X's, that row will get the glue on both sides, and then they'll be glued together like that. So we want the good sides facing each other. This should be a good side and this should be a good side, because once they're glued up, they're going to face down. And this, what we're seeing, will be the bottom of our table. So we went through each row and just made sure that each row had the two good sides facing each other, and we made an X so we know when we apply our glue, these two will go together, these two will go together, so on and so forth. And we just double check the whole thing. So we've got the glue on this side, we got the glue on this side, and we turn it, push it up against, and just put our tent clamp in place. There it is, all glued up. Now we gotta get these clamps on.
Tap it flat.
Get it flat and get it into place, square it up against our fence, let it dry.
Take it back, clamp it.
It's so big, I can't even get it all on camera. I gotta hold it up. If I hold it up there, I can get it all on camera. It's gonna be a big table. That's exactly what I want. So you go back here. Yeah. Oh, wow. So it's great. See, you got a little gap. The gap doesn't go all the way through, but that board wasn't milled properly. Actually, it was milled properly, but put the wrong edge of the board down. Could have found a better edge, but again, once that's sanded and filled, this table was not supposed to be perfect. This is not factory made. This is handmade, and you know, you get flaws and all kinds of cool stuff like that. I almost forgot. We still have this rough end here that we need to straighten out. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the saw out and cut this off so I don't have to waste my time planing anything that's not actually going to be part of the table. And now we're at a very exciting point in the process where we actually get to start smoothing this thing out to make it look like a real tabletop. And first thing I'm going to do is make a few passes with the planer, because this surface is very uneven. It's got, you know, high spots, low spots, and a lot of glue on it, and I don't want to waste my time with the sander. The planer is much more effective for that. knock that stuff right off and get it to a point where I can start using the belt sander to get it smooth. And then I'm going to progressively move to finer sandpaper. I'm going to put an 80 grit belt on here, and then I'll move to a finish sander and start going to the 100, 120, up to the 220. Feels real good. We're going to use these two boards for the apron, so they have to be straight. If you look down this board, you'll see
Kind of
goes
up
up
and then down.
like that. So in order to cut it straight, we got to put a flat edge.
Plane in the center, and then keep checking visually until we find it nice and
This
straight.
requires a very fine touch with the planer. So Cousin Brucey here is going to turn this into a semi-straight board so that we can run it through the saw and then cut it really straight.
Emphasis on semi. Good enough for government work. What does the camera think?
Looks beautiful.
Hi-oh-hoozy.
Okay, now with it semi-straight, we're ready to run it through the table saw.
I have a suggestion. See this hole you don't like? We might make it the boards this wide, just to get rid of that.
Excellent idea, Jeeves. Excellent idea. We have now cut the apron. These redwood boards are going to go under the table to support it. Well, so we cut these 45-degree angles, these miters, and what we need to do now is join them.
Reinforced.
And Brucey has chosen biscuit joinery, using the biscuit joiner. See, there's a saw blade in there. So what happens is, I'm going to put it down on here, and when I push down on it, that saw blade is going to come out.
There we go.
Okay? And what's going to happen when that saw blade is out, it's going to cut a groove into this piece of wood.
Into both. This one and that
Yeah.
one. We've got them
This
clamped
is called
together on the
biscuit
table.
joinery.
What do we got?
Now we
Look
got
at
some
that.
fresh cut holes.
Biscuit slips in there like so. A little better than that. Go ahead.
There we are. We'll put the glue in the biscuit. And then when you put those two pieces together, the biscuit will expand. It'll make a nice tight joint to hold those together.
Also gives a nice flat surface area that glue can stick to, because end grain is not traditionally good for sticking glue together. Alright, now we'll do this side and we'll clamp it up.
Alright, the apron has glued up, has dried, so the apron is set, and we just...
Take a look at that joint right there. That's
right here, take a look from the top.
It's a nice, tight little joint.
So the biscuit glue joint is dry in there, very, very strong so far. So now I just threw the tabletop up there to just have a place to work on it. And so now this is the first view with it actually sitting on the apron. I think it looks fantastic.
It does look nice.
It looks really big, and the color contrast is excellent.